This video is sponsored by Squarespace.
This is the new Hasselblad 90V portrait lens. And in combination with their new version 3 firmware that now includes face detection. This combo right here may actually convert me to the Hasselblad system for my studio portrait work. All right, you gotta hear me out here, okay? Because this setup here gives me a capability that I don't have with any of my other camera setups. So I'm a little excited, but I promise you, this is not a honeymoon phase because I've had this lens for over a month and I've been using the X2D system for a while now. But okay, let's just jump right in. Now, the 90V was originally announced last year, September, along with the 38, the 55, and the X2D camera itself. V is for versatile. These are all f2.5 lenses. The first time I picked up a Hasselblad camera, I was addicted to the image quality, and the color science. Oh my God, and I've made some videos about that. But I was stuck using the 81.9, which is a great lens. Don't get it twisted. The autofocus just wasn't there compared to the newer lenses. Now you're getting that modern performance in this lens, and you have capabilities that, again, I don't have with any of my other lenses. So let's just start off from the top here. I have that ADHD brain, and I don't have a teleprompter on, so this could get a little messy, but I got some notes here. All right, so this 90V gives you an equivalent of a 71 millimeter on full frame. This lens has a leaf shutter built into it, which means that my flash sync speed goes up to 1/4000 of a second. 1/4000 of a second. So I'm using the flash as it was intended to use. I don't need high-speed sync. The benefit is that not being limited by a 1/250th, 1/200 flash sync speed, you can use your shutter speed and alternate it and change. I use my shutter speed to control my ambient lighting. And if I'm changing my shutter speed above and under that flash sync speed, I'm gonna have to constantly change my flash power because let's say my flash sync speed's 1/250th of a second. And now I'm at 1/500 of a second. High speed sync is gonna automatically initiate on my Westcott flash. And now the flash is pulsating, right? So I lose power and I'm draining the battery a lot faster. If I go back under that 1/250th shutter speed, now I'm getting the full range of the power. I'm getting the full range of the flash, which means I'm getting more power and I'm getting better battery life. But every time that I do that, I go above and under, I gotta change the power output of my flash because it's much more powerful when your shutter speed is under. So that creates an extra step in the process in the studio. When you're shooting with a camera like this, with the leaf shutter, with no sync speed, I'm not having that issue. I'm not having to constantly change the power of my flash. If I want to let in a little bit more light with my shutter speed, it's more consistent. And if I'm shooting outdoors in the bright sun, I'm able to get more power out of my flash because I'm able to avoid using high-speed sync when using my shutter speed to kill the ambient light. And I'm not pushing my flashes to the max. I get better battery life. So overall, as a flash user, I was nothing but smiles at the end of it. And now for arguably one of the biggest improvements with the 90V is the autofocus improvement. The best portrait lens that I've used with the Hasselblad system was the 81.9. Beautiful rendering, oh, gorgeous. But it didn't have a modern autofocusing. It wasn't the best autofocusing lens, and even if it acquired focus, it'd do a little bit of back and forth really quick before it acquired. It wasn't unusable. It was good, and I talked about that in the video. But the
Yeah, man,
90V,
it's
I
gotten
mean,
so
it
much
is
faster.
quick and it is very,
Really
very
has.
sure of what it's focusing on. So you're not getting anything like that. It is just snappy and it's locked on. And the autofocus surprised me. It was really good combined with the face detection. I'll get into the face detection later. I think this lens could, I don't know, I feel like it focuses just as fast as these or maybe even a little bit faster than the 38. I was very impressed with the speed, and even when you're shooting against when light's coming into the lens, as I tested in here, with the 81.9, it really struggled when light was coming in. Light coming into this lens, it still performed really well. Now, in regard to the image quality, I don't think anyone is gonna be surprised here, right? You got a 100 megapixel camera. Hasselblad is designing this lens to be able to show you all of those 100 megapixels. It's just really hard to imagine how these images can look any better. Like zooming in to these images and the level of detail is absolutely just unreal. A characteristic that is often overlooked when judging image quality is the micro contrast of a lens. So that's referring to the inner tonal shifts between bright and darkness. And looking at the files up close, you can see how rich the colors are and how rich those tonal transitions are. For the images that I shot wide open at f2.5, just look at how smooth the fall off is. I'm sure that with this YouTube compression, you may not be able to appreciate it like I am in front of my screen, but the image quality is absolutely top tier. I made an entire video prior to this, maybe the one before it, where I said I was wrong about medium format. You can download all the files from Sony, Nikon, Canon, Fuji. You can download all the files for yourself and see it for yourself. And look in the comment section, you'll see that people agreed with me. I'm telling you, the color science and the way this system renders. This lens in particular, it renders similar to the 55 that I shot on. It's beautiful, beautiful. You have to see it for yourself. Now, the lens itself, it's a work of art. The Scandinavian design of this camera, because I think this camera is already the most beautiful digital camera ever created, the Scandinavian design has grown on me so much that it has influenced the purchasing decisions that I've made for my personal home, my living room. I have a bunch of Scandinavian, my Pinterest is full of Scandinavian-inspired interior design because that's how much I have fallen in love with this minimalist, clean aesthetic. So on the lens, you see here the XCD in orange with that pop of orange and that pop of orange here with the shutter button. I just think it's absolutely beautiful. Also, you're gonna notice that on the control ring and on the push-pull focus ring, there are engraved H's all the way around. Beautiful. You have a push-pull focus ring. So if you want to quickly go to manual focus, that's all you gotta do. And now you can manual focus, and now you have some really good manual focusing tools in this camera. And then you have a control ring here that you can customize in the menu. Here you have one switch. It's all it has is one switch on the side here, which is going to make the control ring clickable or completely smooth.
I want to take a quick second to thank the sponsor of this video, and that is Squarespace.
If you have been looking to start a website, blog, or even an online store, you really have to give Squarespace a shot. Your social media page isn't yours, and the quality of your work is degraded. With Squarespace, you can get your own custom domain and create a professional looking website fast and easy. You don't need any coding or graphic design skills. They have 24/7 customer support. If you ever get bored of the look, you can preview and change the entire template with a single click of a button. If you have a side hustle, you can start an online store like I did and make passive income while you sleep. If you use the coupon code Manny, you're going to get 10% off your first purchase. Link will be in the description.
With firmware 3.0, you now have face detection. This is still a beta version, so I'm just going to give my initial impressions on it. I'm not going to go too deep into it because obviously it's subject to change over time or when the final version comes out. I was initially impressed at the distance that it can detect a face. I was on the other side of my studio and it would still pick up Elizabeth's face. I consider myself personally, I'm kind of an autofocus snob in the sense that I've done a bunch of videos comparing the autofocus of the top Sony, Canon, Nikon cameras. I've done those in the past. And the one thing that I was worried about the most when they announced the subject detection, or the face detection, was, is it going to consistently focus on the eyes, or was it going to focus on the tip of the nose or the eyelashes? So from my experience with cameras that only have face detection, it's been a while, but this is something that is going to happen. It's going to happen. There's no avoiding it, especially if you are shooting at very wide apertures and in close proximity to the model. I mean, the Nikon Z9, for example, very good eye autofocus. You attach a fast lens like an 85 1.2, even an 85 1.8. Sometimes it will focus on the eyelid. So sometimes there's no avoiding it. With the X2D and the shots that I took here, I would say about 90% of them, the eyes were perfectly sharp. But you also have to factor in there that I wasn't super close to her, you know? Another concern that I had was, will the face detection pick her up when the ambient lighting is very low? So either low light scenarios or here in the studio where I'm killing all the ambient lighting and she's really dark on the rear screen. And if it did a decent job of that. Overall, the X2D now having face detection, it really does improve the usability of the camera for portraiture, which I mainly do. Now, if I'm not all up in someone's face, shooting wide open at wide open apertures, I don't see myself missing many shots using this camera. Now, the shoot that I did here with Elizabeth, I felt and this is one of the more important things for me, I felt like I was shooting at the same speed, the same pace as I would with any other camera that I'm shooting with. And that, personally, it makes using this camera just more fun to use in the real world. But that's just me. If you enjoyed this video and you want to support this channel, please consider picking up my color grading presets that I personally made for studio portraiture, all right? I use them to color grade the photos in this video. They have skin tones in mind, okay? So they're not as abrasive as traditional presets. Whether you want to add more color or you want to remove some of those orangey tones in the skin, this will save you a lot of time, okay? So I want to thank you all and for making it up to this point. And I think tacos for tonight. Yeah, I think tacos. All right.